Hello friends, welcome to Ecoholics YouTube channel. My name is Avinash Agarwal and in this video I'll be discussing with you economics current affairs for 27th August 2024. So friends, I have selected two important articles from the Mint newspaper for discussion. First article is dealing with a new scheme that the government of India is planning to launch. The name of this scheme is tentatively called RAPID, right? So it's a rapid program that we are going to talk about. It is focusing upon boosting research and development efforts in India. Because अगर Indian industries, Indian private sector R&D के अंदर invest करता है, right? So that will seriously help in improving local value addition. It will seriously help in local investments, local job creation, exports from India and so on. So ये rapid scheme के बारे में we will be discussing in detail and then we'll be coming back and looking at this question. Second question or second article is dealing with the unified pension scheme जिसके बारे में we had spoken in yesterday's lecture. So guys, please note that yesterday's lecture was done at 10 p.m. in the evening. So please watch that lecture if you haven't watched it already. Okay. So unified pension scheme is a new scheme that we are launching. It's basically a hybrid of old pension scheme and new pension scheme. So I'll explain a little bit about the features of the unified pension scheme again, right? And then we will see what the editorial has to say about the unified pension scheme. All right. So with this, let us start with our discussion. If there is any doubt that anybody has, feel free to ask in the comment section either now or after the end of the lecture in the comment section, right? So let us start. So this rapid mission, like I said, the idea of rapid mission is to provide R&D incentives, right? We want India to be a hub of research and development, for which not only do global investors or with global firms need to invest in India, but जो हमारी खुद की firms है, domestic firms है, local firms है, even they need to invest a lot in R&D. ठीक है? हमारा one of the important targets is जो share of manufacturing in our GDP है, that is stuck at 17% of GDP. In 2011 जब हमने manufacturing policy issue करी थी नई वाली, at that point of time we had targeted that we want manufacturing share in India's GDP to be 25% of GDP. इससे क्या होएगा कि इंडिया में बहुत जॉब्स क्रिएट होंगे, वैल्यू एडिशन क्रिएट होगा, we will be able to pull farmers or people will be able to pull people out of the agriculture sector into the manufacturing sector, give them better jobs, give them better wages, increase your productivity. तो काफी फायदे होंगे if we are able to improve the strength of our manufacturing sector. So that is what we are trying to do through rapid scheme, through production linked incentive scheme, through ease of doing business. हम सारी जोर लगाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का शेयर इन जीडीपी जो है इंडिया के अंदर उसको हम इंक्रीज करवा सके, राइट? ये सारी चीजें हमारे को ध्यान में रखनी है, ठीक है गाइस? सो लेट अस सी व्हाट दिस स्कीम इज ऑल अबाउट. सो ये एक नया मिशन है, न्यू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग मिशन. हम लोग स्पेसिफिक सेक्टर्स के ऊपर अपेरेंटली फोकस करने वाले हैं. इट्स नॉट अ ब्लैंकेट स्कीम, इट्स नॉट वन साइज फिट्स ऑल काइंड ऑफ स्कीम. बड़े स्पेसिफिक सेक्टर्स के ऊपर हम लोग फोकस करेंगे. कंप्लीट डिटेल्स ऑफ दिस स्कीम इज स्टिल नॉट आउट, सो वी आर डिस्कसिंग द टेंटेटिव डिटेल्स दैट आर अवेलेबल इन दिस आर्टिकल. सो इस मिशन का नाम है रैपिड. रैपिड स्टैंड्स फॉर रिसर्च, एनालिसिस, प्रोग्राम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन एंड डेटा इंटेलिजेंस, राइट? सो लाइक आई एक्सप्लेन टू यू, द आइडिया बीइंग कि इंडिया के अंदर जो वैल्यू एडिशन है, इंडिया के अंदर जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है, इंडिया के अंदर जो R&D है, उसको हमारे को इंसेंटिवाइज करना है. There are some champion sectors or hot sectors that we have always identified, जिसके अंदर हम लोग ऑलरेडी अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, करने की जरूरत है और आगे चल के we can do better. So automobiles, electronics, electronic components, medical devices, drones, defense, aerospace, space. These are the important sectors that will receive a lot of attention, right? Like I explained to you that the share of manufacturing sector in India's GDP is too small, right? It's still around 17%, right? And it is nowhere near the target of 25%, right? The 25% ka target we have been trying to achieve since more than 2 decades now, and we have never been able to achieve. So what is happening is that India ke andar still around 45% of our labor force is dependent upon the agriculture sector, and that is a very large number. Why? Because agriculture as a sector, agriculture and allied as a sector together contribute, let's say, around 20% of India's GDP, right? So if 45% of the people in India are producing 20% of India's GDP, that means that मजा नहीं आ रहा है ना दोस्तों. So we need to pull at least 10 to 15% more out of agriculture sector, right? ये number जो 45% है, it needs to come down to at least 25-30%, right? and उसके लिए we need to create jobs in an alternative sector, and that could be your manufacturing sector, right? उसी लिए ये important है, that's why this particular mission is important, right? Now we are going to have some tiered goals over here. We will have 2-year goals, we will have 5-year goal, we'll have decadal strategy, right? So this is so much like what planning commission used to do, that first we used to have perspective plans which used to have longer term goals, and we used to have short term goals in the form of 5-year plans. Okay, every 5-year plan will help us reach that perspective goal wala target, which is, let us say, 15 years ahead, right? So this is nothing new, this is planning old wine in new bottle, right? That we are talking about over here. Okay. So right now this rapid program का जो भी development है, so that is being done by a steering committee for advanced local value add and export. तो scale करके ये committee है. It is chaired by Pawan Goenka, who was the CEO of Mahindra and Mahindra Limited, right? So basically there is a lot of public private partnership involved in conceptualizing this rapid scheme, is what you need to understand over here, which is always very good, because we need partnerships, right? We don't just need partnership between the government and the private sector. I would say that we need partnership between government, the private sector, as well as the academia, right? इन तीनों के बीच में we need proper partnership, और उस पार्टनरशिप के बेसिस के ऊपर ही ये प्रकार की स्कीम सक्सेसफुल हो सकती है. बिकॉज हु इज गोइंग टू डू R&D? R&D is going to be done by academia. Who is going to fund that R&D? It is going to be the private sector that will be funding that R&D. But who will incentivize that R&D? It is the government that will be incentivizing the R&D, right? So, and ultimately academia को support कौन देता है? Academia को support देता है government. So this is a age old formula, right? That agar if you want to have strong R&D, then you need to have partnership between these three entities. So there is nothing new over here. I'm telling you again and again, right? With no disrespect to the scheme, right? The idea being that we want to establish innovation and design-led manufacturing ecosystem in the country, right? Again, innovation and design-led manufacturing ecosystem, yani ki we want to do good R&D, we want to do good indigenous local research, and based on that, we want to establish a strong manufacturing ecosystem in India, right? So what we will be doing is that we will be providing a development and selection framework, right, to various central ministries. Ki what do we need to focus upon? What are the important technologies? What are the important areas that need our attention? उसके basis के ऊपर जो है काम करा जाएगा. Like I explained to you that this is not a blanket manufacturing incentive boost. It is a very sectoral. It's a very targeted. It's a very focused effort to bring about investment in local R&D, right? That will help us in achieving our manufacturing goals. Okay. And like I explained to you that if we want to grow the Indian economy, अब जैसे we always say that we want to be $5 trillion economy, and I don't know what $30 trillion economy, etc., etc. It's not going to happen on its own, guys, right? It requires a sincere manufacturing push, and that is what this scheme will help us in doing, maybe to a certain extent, right? We need a lot of local intellectual property rights, which we don't have right now in tech, in telecom, in other sectors. Right now the biggest problem is that जो भी core intellectual property right है, जिसके basis के ऊपर काम हो रहा है, whether it is in hardware or is it in software, it is outside of India. ये India के अंदर है नहीं, because we haven't invested significantly enough in R&D, in money terms, in effort terms, in focus terms, right? तो हमारे पास intellectual property है नहीं. So the idea being that we need to do that in India, and that is what this scheme will help us in doing. So the question that I have framed based on this discussion is this, that evaluate the potential impact of rapid program on India's manufacturing, focusing on goals for local valuation, etc., etc. How might this mission address the challenge of increasing manufacturing share in the economy from 17 to 25% by 2025, right? So this is if you answer this question, तो इस question को जो है घुमा के भी exam के अंदर they can ask you a question based on R&D, they can ask you a question based on local value addition, they can ask you a question based on manufacturing share in India's GDP. So this discussion that I am doing with you, चाहे कोई भी question हो 1, 2 या 3, दोनों क्वेश्चन के अंदर, तीनों क्वेश्चन के अंदर ये डिस्कशन इज गोइंग टू बी हेल्पफुल. You just try to answer this question at the end of this lecture. I'll move ahead to my second article, which is around unified pension scheme. So those who are new and who haven't heard maybe yesterday's lecture, let me explain to you a little bit about the old pension scheme, the new pension scheme, right, and the unified pension scheme. ठीक है? तो ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम को हमने 2004 में वी हैड रिमूव्ड एंड वी हैड इंट्रोड्यूस्ड द न्यू पेंशन स्कीम. नाउ न्यू पेंशन स्कीम को वी विल सेट असाइड and from 1st April 2025 unified pension scheme will become applicable, right? तो ये जो तीनों स्कीम है they are talking essentially about the kind of pension that government employees receive after their retirement. गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉयज के लिए ये एप्लीकेबल होगी, राइट? सो when we talk about assured benefit, so what is the meaning of assured benefit? Assured benefit का मतलब is that the pension amount that you will be receiving on, let us say, a month on month basis after your retirement, whether it is fixed or not, assured benefit. So it was you were having assured benefit in old pension scheme, you are not having assured benefit in new pension scheme, and you will have assured benefit in unified pension scheme. I'm repeating myself over here that assured benefit का मतलब ये है कि the pension amount that you will receive on a month basis is fixed, right? You know what that amount is going to be. So in OPS it was fixed, in NPS it was not fixed, and in UPS it is going to be fixed. Why in NPS it was not fixed? Because NPS के अंदर that benefit that you are receiving, right, in the form of pension, it was based on market linked performance कि जो भी pension का पैसा इकट्ठा करा गया था that is being invested in the stock market. Let us say stock market के अंदर अच्छा returns आएगा, stock market will give positive returns, good returns, stable returns, you will get good pension. If stock market doesn't give good returns, then you will not get fantastic pension, you will not get great pension, right? So you are not having surety about the amount of money that you will receive. You will receive money, but money will be how much, you don't know that. So assured benefit is the first feature. Second feature is that who is going to contribute towards this. To put it very simply, will employees contribute, right? क्या employees को contribute करना है, right? So over here in old pension scheme the entire burden of expenditure was upon the government. In new pension scheme employees were made to contribute 10% of their salaries, let us say, and government was contributing 14% of the employee's salary. So both were contributing, employee as well as the employer. And in unified pension scheme both will contribute again, right? So employees will continue to contribute, let us say, 10% of their salary, and government will contribute around 18.5% whatever of the government of the employee salary, right? So you see over here very importantly, right, that this unified pension scheme is adopting a hybrid approach. It is adopting a hybrid approach. So what do I mean by a hybrid approach, right? It is picking up one of the most important aspect of OPS, right, which is assured benefit and providing assured benefit. It is picking up one of the most important aspects of new pension scheme, that the entire financial burden of this scheme will not be on the government. Employees also need to contribute, right? So a unified pension scheme is picking up that aspect. So which is why we are saying that unified pension scheme, in a way of looking at things, is basically a hybrid between OPS and NPS. गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज की भी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करता है, उनकी भी एंजाइटी को सॉल्व करता है कि हाँ भैया वी आर गिविंग यू अश्योर्ड बेनिफिट. गवर्नमेंट की भी एंजाइटी को प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करता है कि हाउ विल द गवर्नमेंट बेयर द एंटायर बर्डन ऑफ द कॉस्ट ऑफ पेंशन, प्रोवाइडिंग पेंशन. So employees are also contributing, right? So this is the basic idea regarding unified pension scheme that you need to keep in mind, right? Keeping this basic idea in mind, right, let us read further ahead. Those who have not watched yesterday's session, please watch yesterday's session. तो आपको ये पूरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत अच्छे से क्लियर हो जाएगी between OPS, NPS and UPS, right? So is good psychology also sound economics, right? Let us speak about this. ठीक है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल है because this is going back to the first principles of economics, right? ये फालतू डिस्कशन नहीं है. It is first principles of economics that we are discussing. So please try to understand this properly, right? So government, like I explained to you, UPS is what we are bringing in, और NPS को जो है हम लोग हटा देने वाले हैं, right? NPS को 2004 के अंदर लॉन्च करा गया, right? So please understand करिए कि 20 years is not a good enough time period, because देखिए 20 years के अंदर कैसा है, fund got collected, fund got invested, fund started increasing based on market returns, right? People started, those who were retiring, right, they started receiving some amount of pension. Yeah, most of the people who have invested in NPS haven't even retired yet, right? So it was too early for NPS to be retired hurt. ये एक चीज आपको ध्यान में रखनी पड़ेगी. This is unfortunate that we didn't allow NPS to give us a performance benchmark. मतलब अगर एनपीएस 30-40 साल चला होता था, राइट, we would have had a clear data that what was the market linked return, what is the pension that is being given to those who have retired, right, what are their experiences, etc., etc. Had we had all of that experience, then making a commentary on nps would have been fair. But as of now it is unfair, to comment really on nps. एक ही चीज important है, right, that people who government employees, they were not very impressed with nps, right, and there was a lot of pressure for going back to ops, and the major reason for going back to ops, or the pressure for ops, was that assured benefit aspect, right. So how do you understand this? See, because you, if you invest in the market and if market is booming, then that means that आपको ज्यादा pension भी तो मिल सकती है. It's not necessary, right, कि market will not perform. If you look at India's stock market over the last 5-7 years, it has been doing phenomenally well. ठीक है. So the idea being that you can actually get a much higher amount of pension if it is market linked, right? So why is it that people want to go to assured benefit? Why do they want a fixed amount, right? So the answer lies in the prospect theory. So this prospect theory was given by Daniel Kahneman, right, as well as Amos Tversky, and they said that people generally preferred an assured sum of money over a potentially larger sum that's uncertain, right? So the key operative word over here is uncertain. लोगों को uncertainty पसंद नहीं है. जो भी है फिक्स सम ऑफ मनी अगर रहेगा तो बहुत बढ़िया है, uncertainty पसंद नहीं है. ठीक है. This prospect theory is applicable in a variety of ways. जैसे for example, जो we become addicted to salaries, we become addicted to our jobs despite the fact that we may not be the happiest souls in our job. So why do we still stick in our jobs? So in my opinion, that assured sum of money in the form of salary that you get is something which is more desirable than, let us say, a potentially larger sum of money that you can generate by self-employment, going ahead, having your own startup or a traditional venture, whatever, right? Which is why people stick to their salaried jobs despite the fact that, you can actually earn a lot more on your own self, right? Probably prospect theory. Anyways, coming back to my point, right? The idea of prospect theory is this, that chota assured sum of money is better than bada uncertain sum of money. That is the basic idea over here. So even if the law of probability tells you that जो आपका uncertain money है, that can be higher in amount, still you will want a छोटा money which is assured, right? Why? Because जो लोग हैं, they are risk averse. They want to minimize the risk wherever they can, as much as they can, right? That is the basic idea. ठीक है. And this particular human behavioral insight, right, this probably explains to you that why people were not happy with nps, right? अब जो corpus, like I explained to you, that the corpus that was collected, right, it is showing good performance, कुछ खराब नहीं है. But the problem is that this corpus exists on paper. See, my retirement is 10 years ago. Today my corpus is looking good. What if 10 years down the line there is a black swan event and the stock market crashes? What if 5 years down the line there's a global recession and the stock market ends, goes into a lull phase for the next 10 years? And my retirement plans will therefore be thrown out of the window. So I don't want to take risks with my retirement plan, right? So the idea over here is that India के अंदर या दुनिया के अंदर there is significant asset price inflation, right? And we don't know what is going to be happening in the future. So in that sense, we want certain certainty, and this is what UPS is offering. What is UPS saying? UPS is saying that we will give you one half of your basic average salary over 12 months till retirement if you put in 25 years of service. 25 साल अगर आपने काम करा है, जो भी आपकी बेसिक सैलरी थी इंक्लूडिंग डियरनेस अलाउंस, उसका हाफ जो है हम आपको assured pension के फॉर्म में देने वाले हैं, right? Now only time will tell whether UPS is financially sustainable or not, because see, you have to realize that why did we move from OPS to NPS? We moved from UPS to NPS because UPS was not financially sustainable. बहुत बर्डन था, बहुत खर्चा था, right? And नहीं, मतलब झेल ही नहीं पा रही थी गवर्नमेंट्स, and it was very clearly evident that if we continue operating in the old pension scheme, then by 2025 बर्डन इतना ज्यादा हो जाएगा कि ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ मनी विल स्टार्ट गोइंग टुवर्ड्स पेंशन, एंड फिर पैसा नहीं बचेगा दूसरे कामों के लिए, वेलफेयर के लिए, सोशल सिक्योरिटी के लिए, राइट, सोशल सर्विसेज के लिए पैसा ही नहीं बचेगा, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाई वी मूव टू एनपीएस. Now going from back from NPS to UPS क्या burden होगा, that only time will tell, right? Like I explained to you that UPS is a clever hybrid. OPS टाइप का जो assured benefits है या assured payout है, that is there, and NPS का जो contribution characteristics है कि employees will also contribute, that is also there, right? So in UPS, pensioners will pay 10% of their basic pay, government will pay 18.5% of the basic pay, right? So as compared to NPS जहां पर government is only paying 18%, UPS के अंदर we will be paying 18.5%, यानी कि लगभग 6,500 करोड़ का जो है there will be an excess outflow of 6,250 crores apart from 800 crores worth of one-time expenditure to shift the entire system from NPS to OPS, let us say, right? So in UPS के अंदर भी क्या होएगा कि जो भी पैसा इकट्ठा होगा उसको मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करा जाएगा, it will be invested in the market and market will generate returns, right? So let's say that X amount of pension needs to be paid, but market has generated and market can offer only Y amount of pension. So whatever is the difference, this delta will be paid by the government. Now we don't know what this delta is going to be. We don't know what this delta is going to be. Why? Because we don't know what this market generated return is going to be. See, this is fixed. This is fixed amount of pension that will go away, right? What will the market generate? That only time will tell. If market has generated less, that means कि government को delta डालने की जरूरत पड़ेगी, so that delta will be invested by the government or that delta will be provided by the government. So that is why we are saying कि जो financial burden of UPS है, we don't know what that will be. That only time will tell. Because अगर मान लीजिए कि market performance अच्छा है, corpus is growing well, and the corpus is itself able to provide the assured benefit, then the government doesn't need to put in any more delta. But अगर assured benefit से कम है market returns, then government needs to put in the delta, and we don't know what that delta will be, right? So that is the basic idea over here, that एक तो employees की जो psychological need है, right, as per prospect theory, वो solve हो जाती है. सरकार के साथ जो political accusation है, right, that you have been stingy with your employees, you are not taking care of your employees, so allegation हट जाता है, right? And we don't know what is going to be the budgetary impact, right? So now it is important, now therefore it becomes important कि we make sure that जो हमारा stock market है, जो हमारी economy है, उसका performance अच्छा रहे. Otherwise the benefit that the government will be providing will be too much for the government. So we need to ensure that stock market, the Indian economy, they are going in the right direction. We need to ensure that हमारे इंडिया के अंदर जो है asset price bubbles नहीं आ रहे हैं. We have to make sure that things are moving ahead in a systematic manner. Foreign portfolio investment is coming into the country and it is not rushing out of the country. Macroeconomic indicators of the company are of the country are in the right direction. We have to ensure all of that, right? So right now, if you see, so there is a lot of fraud, there is a lot of bubble, there is a lot of heating up in the stock market that is happening because कई सारी companies के जो अभी stock prices चलने लग रहे हैं, they are not justified, right? If you look at their earnings, they are not justified, right? So what happens ahead remains to be seen. But there is no doubt in your mind and my mind, in anybody's mind, that we need good corporate governance, we need good market oversight, we need to make sure that there aren't any bubbles, we need to make sure that our systems are operating in a rule-based manner, in a systematic manner, in a transparent manner, so that we can avoid cycles of booms and busts. Because boom के cycle में तो nobody will complain, because market will be giving you unimaginable kind of returns. But जब bust आएगा, जब bubble burst होएगा, when the party will stop, and वो time के ऊपर जब market based returns will be not good enough, and government को पैसा डालना पड़ेगा, right? So that is going to be extremely painful, right? So this is the basic idea that you need to keep in mind regarding UPS. इसके ऊपर जो क्वेश्चन मैंने आपको बनाकर दिया है वो ये है कि एनालाइज द पोटेंशियल इंपैक्ट ऑफ ट्रांजिशनिंग फ्रॉम एनपीएस टू यूपीएस on retirees and government finances. So retirees के ऊपर तो benefit should be good, right? The impact should be good. Government finances के लिए, like I explained to you, you need to explain कि government finances के साथ क्या होगा, we don't know, right? But definitely there can be situations where we will be in a tough spot. And how does prospect theory explain public preference for UPS? What are the fiscal sustainability concerns associated with this new scheme? So this article has not answered this complete question in totality, but it does give you a very clear cut direction कि आपको किस direction में जाके आंसर लिखना है. आप थोड़ी सी मेहनत करोगे मेरे साथ मिलकर, so these kinds of questions will be very very easy for you to tackle in the examination, right? So this is my submission to you today. I hope that you all had a good time listening to this lecture. Do share your feedbacks. It's extremely critical for me that you leave your feedbacks in the form of comments and liking and sharing, etc. of this video, so that we know that we are in the right direction. We'll meet you again tomorrow and take things ahead. Until then, thank you so much. All the best and Jai Hind to all of you. Bye bye.